have 30. Did you make a note if I need to warm them up?
You don't need to.
Okay.
But I just want my plate back after.
This is for cold. You need to keep it cold? Okay. There's ice in
Don't
the bottom.
put on top of that.
Yeah. Yay, very good. 30, I need like what? 5 or 6.
I forgot my ingredients, Mr. Davis.
Oh no, do you know what they are? Oh no.
My auntie helped me make them.
That's good. Does that need to get heated up at all?
Yeah.
Can you put a note on it, a post-it note? They're over there. Amanda has it. Tell me how long it needs to get warmed up for. How long it needs to get warmed up. So if you need me to microwave it, I'll do it during break, during the period. I do, but it's a little late right now.
Really?
Yes, we're going to do other stuff in class.
Okay.
The paper.
Yes. Where did my bin go? There it is. Okay, business first. During the period 5, I'm going to be setting up our lunch. We'll put out the tables again like we did before in the middle of the room. If you have food that needs to get warmed up, make sure that you have a post-it note on there so I can warm it up for you before lunchtime. If you have food that should be in a cooler, make sure it's actually in the cooler. Please don't smash the Jell-O, which is going to be delicious, right? We're nervous about it. Yes. Cooler. Can bring it up. Any place at this point. You can put it by the microwave, actually. It's about the only open space that's left. Yeah, so just like last time, because there's lots of people who are invited, I strongly urge you to get here quick so that you can get some of your food. There'll be lots of people.
Can we have a priority entrance for VIP?
Yeah, I think I'll try to let you guys get into the line. We'll let you go early to make sure. We did invite counselors, administrators, various other teachers who are friends of ours. Hopefully they'll come. Like last time, we had a few people come. Did you pass out invitations? Yes. OK, good. To teachers or your friends? Friends. Both. OK, that's good. All right, so we'll see who comes. It'll be fun. It'll be a little crazy in here. I did provide drinks, so there will be water, because that's healthy. There will also be soda in bottles, which was big in the 50s. Also, we will have Tang. How many of you have had Tang before? Yay! All right, Tang was a new thing in the 50s, so I'll be making Tang during 5th period for you to have some Tang. All right, any other thoughts or questions about lunch? Because we're not going to talk about it for a while. OK. Now, today we are going to be talking about a very important thing that happened in the 1950s, which is the Red Scare. So, all right, to get us started. Quick review from last time. Last time we talked about communism and capitalism and the difference between the two, and that the Cold War was, by and large, a fight between two ideas about how to run a country or run society. So I picked this particular graphic here. Of course, on the left we have who? Who is symbolic of? America. That's pretty obvious right there. And he is holding a bag with the money symbol, right? This is a good visual representation for us to remember that America was the heart of capitalism. What city in America is the heart of capitalism? And what street? Wall Street. Very typical. OK, good. On the other side, the bear represents Russia, or in the time, the Soviet Union, right? And there you have the hammer and sickle with the star on a what color flag? Red. Red was a symbol for communism. Capitalism doesn't have a particular color. I suppose red, white, and blue combined, because we're the heart of capitalism, but not particularly. Also, the symbol there, the hammer and sickle symbol, represents two types of workers. The farmers and the factory workers, I guess. Factory workers, right? So represents the two types of workers. This hammer and sickle symbol keeps showing up over and over in communist countries. You'll see it started off in the Soviet Union. We see it used in China and in Vietnam and other places also. North Korea loves this particular combination of symbols. Represents the workers, the idea that the people, the workers, run everything. Does it always work? No, it never has worked, right? We've talked about that last class. All right, so the Red Scare. Today, goals. We're going to understand why we had a Red Scare around the year 1950. It started a little before, extended a little bit after. There wasn't like a suddenly now we have a Red Scare and like tomorrow the Red Scare starts. It wasn't like that. It was a growing phenomenon, and then it dissipated over time. But 1950 is a good way to remember the Red Scare happened. And understand who was involved. Some of the people we need to know involved in this one. OK, first, why did we have a Red Scare? Hint, what did the USSR do in 1949? It was in your notes. Which technology especially? The atomic bomb. Yes, the Soviet Union set off or tested their first atomic bomb in 1949. When did the United States first use our atomic bomb? When did World War II end? 45, yeah. 1945, we used the atomic bomb. We told the world, hey, we have this fabulous new invention. Look what we can do. 1949, the Soviet Union tests theirs. It took them only how long? Math is good. OK, 4 years to do it. OK. Now, the United States borrowed a lot of German scientists at the end of the war. We went into Germany and we took some of the best German scientists home with us. And they helped build our rocket program. Our space program was built with a lot of help from German rocket scientists. The Germans had built rockets before the Americans. And at the same time, the Soviet Union was moving into Germany at the end of the war from the opposite direction. And they were doing the same thing. They were borrowing the German scientists, taking them back to Russia to help build the Russian space program and the Russian missile program, and the nuclear program. So the atomic bombs that were built in the Soviet Union were also built with a lot of help from German scientists. And because there were some Americans who sold nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union. Okay? So they'll come into play there. Okay. All right. We also had this idea of containment that was going on. Okay? So Americans are scared by the testing of the atomic bomb. Suddenly we're not the only nuclear-powered country in the world. Get scared by that. And also this idea, what if the communists were already here? Because we were trying to contain communism or keep it from spreading to new places, right? We were worried about Greece or Turkey or even France or West Germany from falling into communist hands. So we had instituted this plan, this idea that if a country is in danger of falling into communism, we're going to put American money into there to rebuild that place, make friends with those people, and they'll see the joys of capitalism, reject communism. We called this plan the what plan in Europe? It was named after the guy who proposed it. Marshall, there we go. Good, I knew somebody would remember. Thanks. The Marshall Plan was proposed by this guy Marshall, who was Secretary of State after the war, and this tied in with this idea of the Truman Doctrine, what President Truman wanted, this idea of containment. Okay? Truman didn't want to go in and destroy communism where it already existed. He did not want to fight World War III and try to fight the Soviet Union and fight communist China. He wanted to just keep it from spreading. So the idea was to contain it, like a container of food, right? You don't like put the soup in the fridge by going like, oh, let me pour it into the fridge, right? Okay, you put it in a container. And that was the idea of containment. Keep communism where it is, don't let it spread. We fought a whole war about this at the end of the 40s, trying to keep communism from spreading. Where was that war? Where? Korea, yeah. We fought a war in Korea because the communists in North Korea had invaded the South and we didn't want communism to spread. So we went and defended South Korea. Okay? We had already been fighting a war, but all of this was far away. This was in Germany, and this was in Korea, and this was far away from the United States borders. But people in America started to get worried at the end of the 40s, what if the communists were already here? What if your teacher was a communist? What if your minister at your church was communist and was secretly putting communist messages into the sermon? What if the police officer was communist? And at some point when the Russians invaded, the police officer was going to help the communist soldiers invading the United States? What if there was a general in the military who was secretly communist? Right? So Americans started to become fearful of this idea that there were communists here already, in our midst. Okay? And so we have a Red Scare. And we get lots of good propaganda like this one. We were terrified. It was a scare. All right, so we're going to bring us to our activity, class activity. First, you're going to play a game. It involves some teamwork, it involves some strategy, and possibly some deception. Oh, yay. Okay. Extra credit can be earned, but only if you adhere to the rules. You must follow the rules 100%. Okay. Paper, take out your packets. Rather than plain paper, take out your packets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. What are the chances? Okay. Each person is going to receive a paper. It says either red or green on it. Okay? You may not divulge, divulge means to tell or show, you may not divulge the color of your paper. Absolutely may not. It will ruin the activity if you show or tell anyone what's on your paper. Make sense? Okay, as soon as you get it, you see it, put it in your pocket. Okay? Don't let anyone else see it. Okay? That's what I just said. Okay. That was my class when I had Chinese-speaking students, and they had to know what to do. Okay. All right. Each green paper is worth 1 point, and each red paper is worth 0 points. You don't even know how the game goes yet. Okay, the object of the game, of course, is to acquire as many points as possible by building teams. For example, a group with 6 students who join together would earn 6 points, 1 point for each green paper. Okay? So you're going to be building teams of people with green papers. Okay? Okay, there's some more instructions in Chinese. Okay, red papers. If you have a red paper, you acquire points by joining or infiltrating the green teams. Okay? For example, a red paper joins with 6 green papers. The red person earns 6 points. You can see where this is going because if 2 or more red papers are in a group, they have to split. So if you have 6 greens and 2 reds, each of the reds gets 3. So you reds, you do not want to have more than 1 red in the group. And any group with a red paper in it, the greens do not get any points. So if you have 6 greens and that's it, you all get 6 points each. If you have 6 greens and 1 red, only the red person gets 6 points. The greens get nothing. So greens, keep the red people out. Make sense? Any questions? Okay, there's the directions of Chinese. And once again, upon receiving your color, do not divulge it to anyone. You cannot be in a group by yourself. You have to at least be in a pair. Okay? Pair would be the absolute minimum. All right, we're going to take about 5 or 10 minutes to form groups. So you're going to get up, you're going to walk around, okay? Form groups. You may end up shifting groups as you go. The first group you want might not be the one you end up with in the end. Once you go in a group, once you've said, okay, the 3 of us or the 5 of us are going to be a group, try to separate yourselves a little bit just so we can tell who the groups are. Don't just make a giant herd of 30 people in the middle of the room. Okay? All right, are we good? All right, okay, you gotta draw the cards. I think there's 1 or 2 more chips than we have people, so we'll see. Don't trust Landon. Are you sleepy today?
Oh, sorry.
I love this game.
Just because I'm wearing red does not mean
Yeah, what about this? You were in my class before, right? You know about the Red Scare.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't play this.
No, we didn't play this game last time you were in my class. Do you trust him? Should you trust him?
Trust who?
He's got that red string on his thing, though. Okay, I think we're going to have just enough.
Don't trust Landon.
You look suspicious. Yeah, Landon, why doesn't anybody trust you?
They're crazy. They're crazy.
You're crazy.
Oh, wait, I took.
You got 1 or 2? Wait, I miscounted. I got to throw a couple more in there. How come there's staples on your desk?
Oh, wait, I grabbed 2 on accident.
You have to throw one back. Oh, perfect. 4 more. Okay, make sure your paper is safely in your pocket. Only you know the color.
What happened?
All right, now, going to walk around, move around the room, form up some teams. We have about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to see how the teams shake out. You cannot sit down. You have to get up and walk around. Yes. Yes.
No one takes you.
That will be sad.
Does that mean you're out?
You have to be in a group. Just 3? You all trust each other? No. No? But you're gonna stick together anyway. You all mistrust each other, but you're okay. These two, they're not gonna steal your point?
It's okay.
You can get extra credit.
Are you guys?
Yeah, you can tell. You can totally tell if somebody's lying, right? You got thrown out. You gotta go find a group. Can't be by yourself. Oh, you got another one. You brought in another green into the fold, huh? Well, how happy is he about this? We have 3. You trust each other? Should you? No. You don't have to have her in a group if you think she's like shifty eyes over there. Are we a team of 3? We're comfortable with this? You've been best friends for life, but can you trust her? Okay. We'll see. How is this? This is a team of 6 going.
We're not confident here.
You're not confident though. You could leave if you think there's a red somewhere in here and you're green. You could go and go away from this red who's going to steal your points.
Just because I'm friend doesn't make me confident.
Okay, let's go back.
All right, Toby, you're back over here. You keep like ping-ponging between the groups.
Like, irritate everyone.
Is what?
I'm trying to irritate everyone.
But do you trust him? You'll always take him back?
According to my list.
Your secret list. It's just a team of 3. All right, 1 more minute to finalize your choices. That was pretty unified decision right there. Do not trust him. I'll tell you. Maybe. All right, are we settled? Okay, so I want to have the groups kind of separate. So you guys kind of slide over a little bit. I slide over. This group here, can you come over here? Separate, and guys, you can go there. Just so we can see clearly who the groups are. So we have a group of 4, 3, 3, 3. These are the nervous people over here. Not trusting. We have a group of 6. Aaron, can you stand up for me? We have a group of 5 and a group of 5. Okay, so apparently this is the trusting group here. Now, before we reveal the actual colors that you have, a little qualifier here. You are all friends. Okay? You came into the room friends, and you will leave the room as friends, even though some of you have done a very good job of deceiving your friends. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with the small groups first, because I'm curious to know about this one. So we'll go with our groups of 3. Groups of 3, the actual color you have is? Green. All right, so each of you is going to get 3 points. Good job. All right, my 3 girls over here, we have? Oh, all right. Trust has worked out for you. Okay, we have a group of 3. We have? Green. Oh, she steals your 2 points. And you trusted. Oh, no. All right, let's go with our team of 4. Sharon, you have? What is that? Red. Green. Oh, Sharon, you did such a good job. And even you were wearing red today, but you were. Oh, no. All right, so let's see. We have 2 teams of 5. I just want to wait till you guys are last, actually. All right, so over here, Vincent, you have? Oh, all right. For all that nobody wanted to have you in their team, Toby, you were safe all along. All right, so each of you gets 5 points. This is very good. This is very good. All right, my team of 6, you were very quiet throughout the whole game. You all just clumped together, and then you stayed together. So let's see how this goes. So we'll start this side. Kevin. Red. He's a red.
I knew she was.
All right, so you're also red.
Yes.
All right. Green.
Oh, triple reds. I'm a green.
Green. Wait, you're a red also? Oh, okay, so each of you gets 1 point. Because there were 3 greens, but also 3 reds. So each of you gets 1 point. Oh, too many reds concentrated. All right, in the back, Rens, we have?
Green. Green.
All right, good job. So all green, so all of you get 5 points over there. All right, go ahead and have a seat. You can keep the papers as your souvenir. Okay, so let's talk about this and follow up and understand how it connects to history. That was fun? Yeah, okay, that was fun. I always like playing that game. Sneaky friends over there. I love it. Okay, first one, I want you to think about this before we share. Can you describe the experience of trying to join a group? What was it like to try to join a group? Think for a minute first, and then we'll share.
We had to make consequences just in case it didn't.
Wait a minute, you had to make consequences. What does that mean?
You don't want to know.
If you lie, I'm going to something to you later on?
Yeah.
Oh, there was a consequence for being a liar in here. Yeah, interesting. So there was some sort of law about being a red.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's get some other people. All right, Sharon. Where is Sharon? Sharon, you're a sneaky person, apparently. What was it like trying to join a group? You ended up with a group of 4. It wasn't hard. You just walked over, and then everyone was happy to have you in their group? No problem. She's so what? Oh, we just trust her from before because she's a trustworthy person. No one would have thought. Yeah? Was it? Landon, I'm not surprised to hear that. Landon, why was it hard for you?
Because they thought I got fishy from the start.
He was fishy from even before he walked into this room. Y'all think he's a fishy guy. So, okay, describe this for you. Trying to join a group.
It was very discriminatory.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so nobody wanted you? Is that you felt like that or what?
I had to force my way into.
Really? Is the law, was that made for him?
It was.
It was made for him.
It was especially applied to it.
It's especially applied to Lennon.
They didn't believe me until the very end.
All right, let's get at least one more. Jason, where'd Jason end up? Jason, what was it like trying to join a group?
It was easy.
Because?
I had a list.
Tell me about this list, Mr. McCarthy.
It says, list of communists.
Wait, McCarthy never gave away his list, though. He never told anybody who was on the list. But you already knew from the start who you thought was going to be communist? You already knew who was going to be a red from the start? This was totally random. I even let you draw the chips, right? I didn't even know who ended up being red. Oh, you get like this premonition of the future. Okay. Now let me ask you here before we move on to the next question, though. Did this affect who was in the group? Your like preconceived ideas about who it might be? Not really. It was just fun. It was just fun for you? I imagine for McCarthy it was kind of fun also to like see people squirm under his like crazy accusations. All right, before you talk, think for a minute. How did you determine if somebody was telling the truth or being deceptive? How could you tell? All right, I'm going to call some people and then we'll take volunteers also. All right, Katie, how could you tell?
They look so suspicious, like
Everyone in your group looks suspicious. Half of them, apparently. All right, but what about them makes them look suspicious?
well, they were darting their eyes left and right.
Oh, like the like shifty eyes, kind of. That's a suspicious look.
Somebody kept accusing me of being like, you accused me of being the communist. You're probably a communist too.
Ooh. The over-accusers were.
It turns out that he was a communist too. So why was he accusing me?
Oh, interesting. Maybe he was trying to get rid of you. Yeah, interesting. All right, let's get another one. Daniel, how could you tell who to trust and who not to trust?
Look at their eyes.
Their eyes. So similar thing. But what about their eyes would give it away?
Looking down.
Why do you keep looking at Vincent? Was he looking suspicious? What do you mean? It's how you play the game.
Can't let them know if you're green or red.
So you just look at the floor the whole time?
Yeah.
So green or red, you just look around at the floor and you don't make any contact with anybody and then you're safe. Oh, interesting. So any of you reds out there, you tried this trick, just don't look at anybody? No. You decided you were too good of a faker. You could pull it off. Ah. Because?
Because I look trustworthy.
Oh, she looks trustworthy. All right, did anyone think she did not look trustworthy today? Oh, there's some people you did not fool, yeah. Oh, no.
You joined the group even though you...
Wait a minute, you joined the group even though you thought she was a red.
I thought she was okay at first, but then after I was like, you're coming? She's like, no, I'm not. And I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Wait, okay, so wait a minute. How did you know she was a red? At first you didn't think so, but then you changed your mind. What made you change your mind?
She got too agitated.
Ooh, interesting. Somebody who is agitated. Anyone else use this method? If somebody seemed agitated or nervous and you thought they must be lying? Yeah. Who did you mistrust because of this method? Vincent. Oh, Vincent, you look nervous, and so everyone thinks you're lying, which you weren't, right? No, he was just nervous. What made you nervous?
I was afraid they could kick me out.
Afraid of losing your position. All right. Anyone else have another method of telling if somebody was lying or not? We've done the looking.
Color was.
What do you mean? Like you ask them, what's your favorite color?
And then you use that scale, and whatever color that scale is closer to, that's what they
Applying some art logic over here to this. The closer they are. There was some sort of a trick test here. This is a total witch hunt. Okay. Raise your hand. Did you accuse somebody of being a red? Okay. All right. We haven't heard from you guys over here. Who did you accuse? You accused her. Why? Because he was wearing red, so you just thought he's wearing red, he must be red. Does that make any sense at all? No, but you went ahead and did it anyway, just because. Did you actually think he was red because he was wearing red?
He had a bit of his behavior was too calm, but that was okay.
Apparently you're more chaotic in normal life, but then you were like really chilled out this time, so you look suspicious. All right, you accused somebody of being red. Who'd you accuse? Oh, Marianne, you were green too, right? And then both of your friends were accusing you of being red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they both accused you. So you accusers, why did you accuse her of being a red?
Kept smiling and like fidgeting.
Before we were playing this other game that was similar, and then I was like, Marianne, are you the spy? And she started laughing really hard, so we knew.
Yeah, she was laughing. So
So
like,
laughing this time too.
All right. You laugh under pressure. Yeah, last time I played this, somebody, they said every time she smiles, then she's lying. She smiles all the time, every day, and then you're a pretty happy person, right? Yeah, so now we know. Every time you come in and you're laughing and you're smiling, then we know you're up to no good. Even your best friends told us this. They know you pretty well, I guess. All right, who else accused somebody of being a red? Okay, Aaron said we haven't heard from you too much. What's up?
Landon.
You accused Landon. Everyone's accusing Landon. Why did you accuse Landon?
Landon.
Are you just picking on him?
No, he was just like, I'm the king out. He's like, he's like, do you want some of this good stuff?
You're just straight up acting more suspicious than usual.
I like, at first the first thing he did when we stood, he like approached Dean and stuff.
I knew he was a communist.
Oh, he was like trying to stay, he's like went towards the green.
Wait a minute, Landon, you said you knew he was communist.
You can tell. He gives out that Ho Chi Minh.
He's got a communist vibe.
Yeah, the Viet Cong.
You never know. Okay, so actually that's kind of true. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so we have this issue here of you guys mistrusting each other. Okay, did anyone accuse somebody because you were afraid they would accuse you? Yes. Okay, so we had this.
Accuse him because they try to accuse me.
So you're like, I need to accuse somebody else so people will think I'm a green.
Yeah.
They'll
that's
trust me.
exactly what I did.
All right, good. Anyone else do this? Oh, you're the only one who tried this strategy. All right. Okay, we talked about this one. Oh, all right. Okay, did anyone accuse you? Raise your hand. Did anyone accuse you? Okay, you poor people who got accused a lot. Sharon, you got accused of being a red and you were a red. Okay, what was it like to get accused? It was okay. You fooled your team anyway. Yeah, so you were chill with this? You're like, I got it. They're all like in the dark anyway. So what did you do? You just played it cool or what? You're just like, oh, thanks. What? You're like, oh, okay. And they didn't think that was weird? It was. But then you stayed with her anyway. You didn't throw her out or leave the group. She stole your points. All right, who else got accused? Kevin, you got accused. What was it like? We heard the accuser's point of view. You got accused. What was that like? Discriminated against. Yeah?
No, it's because like, no, it's like, so when she accused me, it's like, all five of them, like all that was like, yeah, like that.
Oh. It was like, suddenly on the bandwagon, let's all get Kevin out.
And then I figured even if you, so I was like accusing her a lot, but then I figured, in the end I was like, oh, even if I accuse her, I don't think she'll leave, so yeah, whatever. So like,
You're just going to have to deal with the anxiety of being in this situation.
yes, I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
All right, Kevin D., you also got accused. Who accused you? They did, okay. And what was that like? You didn't care. You were green. Okay. But so you were like, it doesn't matter, I'm green anyway. Did you tell them? Did you protest? Did you say, like, no, I'm green?
I was like, okay, whatever you think.
Oh, and did you think that was suspicious? You were accusing him? Or when you accuse somebody and they're like, Does that mean like, okay, I don't have to worry about them? They don't seem to care to get accused, so they must be safe?
Yeah.
Mixed message.
Oh, mixed message. But you're okay with it. Renz, you said that's fine? So that was did you use that as a test? Let me accuse somebody, and if they're cool with being accused, then that's okay
Oh no. I mean, yeah, for him.
for him.
But he kept coming back to me, so like,
He's probably safe. All right. Who else over here got accused? All right, Toby, we're gonna get over to you. You got accused a lot by many different people. In fact, there was a time when we weren't sure you were going to be even in a group, right? What was this like?
It was hurtful.
Hurtful. Oh.
Because a lot of people didn't want me.
Why? Oh my God, you are a very popular person at school, are you not? No. No. Come on. No, people tend to like you. I know this is true. But then suddenly here in this game, lots of people didn't want you around.
I just wanted to join the group, and they're like, no.
But you were green.
Yeah.
You were safe.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Were you protesting? We were like, no, I'm green. We were trying to convince them. Yeah.
I just want to join them.
Oh, poor guy. You're throwing him out. All right. This is an interesting question. Who emerged as the leaders of the group? Jenny. Okay. You're very quiet. In fact, you haven't even spoken up yet, but they seem to think you are a leader. Why did she end up being a leader of the group? Why would you follow her?
She's very anti-landed.
Ah, she took the right stance here. She was the most anti-landed.
She was the one that made the consequence.
Yeah, she made the consequences.
Ah.
I said there should be a consequence, but they made up.
She theorized it though.
Yes.
Yeah, you came up with the idea, the way to prove, the way to make sure. Interesting. All right, who else involved as group leaders? Jason. Jason, they trusted you. Why did you guys trust Jason? What? That's right. McCarthy over there had the list. So somehow you felt like he had the information. He had the inside source.
Yeah, but she put us all on the list. So
Well, like McCarthy, everybody was on there. Equal opportunity accuser. But then you trusted him anyway, against probably your better judgment.
yeah, we said you get him after if you lied to us.
Okay. But then, were you okay being the one who people were trusting and following? Yeah, you were good with this. Ooh. Ooh, we felt powerful. You guys didn't hear that. You felt powerful. Interesting. All right, now we had some small groups, right? Okay, so those are some of the bigger groups. The small groups of 3. Did you end up with a group leader, Amanda and company? Not exactly. Our other group up here of 4. Belda, did you have a group leader? Not really. You were a 3 for a long time, and then you gained one more person at the very end. Yeah? Who decided that it was okay to let that person in? Or you just were 3 standing there and suddenly he was there also and you're like, well, okay. It was sort of a non-leadership decision. Okay. Did anyone else emerge as group leaders? No. Okay. All right. Last thoughts before we talk about the real history connection here. Any final thoughts?
Better dead than red.
Better dead than red. Interesting. Interesting connection. Any other final thoughts? Yes. You what?
I didn't choose this life. I didn't want to be red.
You didn't want to be red, but you were anyway.
I know, but I ruined our friendship.
Aww. Remember what I said, though. You were friends on the way in. You're still friends on the way out. Now you just know what to watch out for. All right, this is good. Those of you who ended up red, who are our reds? Raise your hand. Was it uncomfortable being the red?
Yes.
No, okay. No, I was all right with that. This is fun. But you were okay being red? Yeah.
XKVG.
You're okay? You didn't really care. You're like, this is my chance to see how sneaky I can be. It was okay one way or another. How many of you had some guess as to how many reds there were? What did you think?
Oh, I thought the majority was green, so there was only a small pool here.
Okay. You thought that too.
Like, oh, yeah, you're red, not red.
Ah, you thought I would play it that way.
I thought you were doing that, like, the thingy where, like, you made everyone green, and you made us each other, like, accuse each other, and then in the end,
Oh, yeah.
But everyone was going to be?
yeah, green.
Oh.
How dumb the Red Scare was.
Yeah, it was in a lot of ways dumb. There were like basically very, very few, if any, communist infiltration anywhere, right? Okay, I put in enough reds to make it fun so you guys can get some points. But really, the majority of you are green, and lots of you greens got accused of being red. Okay? Just like a lot of people who are not communist at all got accused of being communists. All right, let's do those historical connections. Okay? All right. The Red Scare happened in the early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. You can remember that date is the time of the Red Scare. When Truman was president, this fear started getting going, and his response was the Truman loyalty oaths. You had to swear, I do hereby swear that I am loyal to the United States, to the government of the United States. I will not try to overthrow the government of the United States. Okay. Of course, if you were a communist and you wanted to overthrow the government of the United States, would you refuse the oath? No, you'd be like, okay, I swear, and da-da-da, ha-ha, I'm on the side, right? Like you Reds who are infiltrating the other groups. Yeah, no, I'm not red, right? Okay. Same deal. The loyalty oaths were the first attempt, not particularly effective, but it's the first time that we really see this in this particular Red Scare. All right, HUAC. HUAC was the quick or short name for the House Un-American Activities Committee. You know, in Congress, we have two parts of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. In the House of Representatives, they created a special committee, okay, HUAC, and their job was to go hunt out and figure out who was communist in America. That was their mission. The most famous member of HUAC was Richard Nixon when he was a member of the House of Representatives. He was there. So Richard Nixon gets a reputation from very early in his career as a communist hunter. Okay? He's going to go out and get the communists. Okay? The HUAC committee, will come back to them in a minute in terms of who they were accusing. But in the House of Representatives, HUAC, this committee, becomes the main communist hunters. On the other side of Congress, in the Senate, you get Joseph McCarthy. Okay? And McCarthy is a senator. He decides his mission in life is going to be to hunt the communists. Okay? Now, I honestly don't think that he was that excited about finding real communists. He got a whole lot more excited about accusing people of being communists, okay? Because he had some power. Yes, it's very powerful to be in this position to accuse other people, yeah? To be able to hold up the list, and I have here a list of X number. He kept changing the number, right? People in the State Department who are known to be communists, right? Of course, he would never tell anybody who he knew were communists, but it gave him a lot of power. Okay? People were very afraid of him, particularly, right? Now, he accused a lot of people who were straight up his political enemies. He was Republican. He accused a lot of Democrats of being communists, and this trend didn't get noticed right away. At first, everyone's like, "Oh, he knows who's communist, so we should listen to what he says," right? Like you guys listened to him, even though you knew his list was bogus, right? So he gets a lot of attention in this way. Over time, and frighteningly a long time it took before people started to realize he was just making all this stuff up. He was ruining people's reputations. It was politically motivated or just personal in a lot of ways. And finally, people started to repudiate him and go against him and criticize him. And the fear of him went away. And people basically said, if we all pull together here and we criticize him instead of letting him terrify us, we can turn things around. In 1952, Eisenhower becomes president. Eisenhower's a Republican, and there was a lot of pressure on Eisenhower in the beginning to come out and criticize McCarthy and put a stop to it. Okay? And even Eisenhower waited a while before he was willing to do it, because there was such a fear of him. All right, Toby, this is you. Getting blacklisted. Okay, almost. Okay, almost. What is getting blacklisted? Get put on a list. Right? Now, there wasn't always exactly a list, but it was a list in a way, like a mental list. Okay? What did it mean to be blacklisted? No one wanted to. You had gotten accused of being a communist. Enough people believed that accusation that in the end, no one took you. Okay? A teacher. You kids went home and you told your parent that Mr. Loomis is telling us things about how we should all work together and it's important to share, and you know, if you have a pencil and your friend needs one, you should give it to them, and that's such a communist evil idea or whatever. And the word gets out among the parents that, oh, that McKinley High School has this, you know, evil communist teacher who's spreading these bad ideas amongst the students. And then the parents write letters to the principal, and the principal comes down and sees my room and how I have red things and I keep wearing red shoes every day. And then pretty soon everyone thinks I'm a communist and I get fired. And then I go to some other school. I go up to you know, Roosevelt, wherever, and I say, oh, I want to work here. And they call up my old boss and say, hey, what do you know about this Loomis guy? I say, oh, don't hire him. He's communist. Right? That's getting blacklisted. Where you cannot get a job anywhere just because you're suspected of being a communist. You're on the blacklist. Black, but do not hire. It's bad in some way. I don't know where the name comes from, but getting blacklisted. And Americans started to turn in their neighbors. Okay? They actually would do this. Okay? Sometimes because they thought their neighbors looked suspicious. Okay? Spending a little too much time away from home late at night, maybe. You know, my neighbor, you know, I see him and he's like playing with the drones, you know. He must be up to no good, right? You know, I saw him shopping and he was buying binoculars or, you know, whatever. People would come up with all kinds of crazy reasons to suspect somebody. Just like you guys, you know, like, oh, they got the shifty eyes or he's wearing a red shirt or whatever. You come up with crazy ideas to suspect. And sometimes it was just, in your case, I don't want someone to accuse me, so I'm going to hurry up and accuse them, right? Now, who is the most famous group of people who are accused of being communist and blacklisted during the Red Scare? Ronald Reagan was a big communist hunter also, but who was the accused group? Where did they work? Hollywood. And there was a group of 10 of them, so they got called the Hollywood 10. They were producers and writers, and the people, especially in HUAC, in the House of Representatives, accused them. They brought them in and said, are you communists? Do you believe in these communist ideas? And very appropriately they said, I'm an American. I have the right of free speech and free press. I can believe whatever I want. You have no business asking me what my political views are. If I want to say, I'll say. If I don't want to say, you can't force me to say. And of course, that makes them especially looking suspicious. So there was a group of these 10 Hollywood producers and writers and so on who actually had to leave the country because nobody would give them any work in the United States. They had to go elsewhere to make their movies. They made really good movies, but alas, we lost out on it. All right, we're going to read a poem. The poem is called The Hangman. So open up your packets, find the page with the hangman. Page 20. All right. This poem has 4 parts, so we're going to have 4 different readers. The first part is the first column. Okay, Andy, can you read for us the first column? Keep going.
The store posted by the courthouse sign, only as wide as the door was wide. Afraid I saw a little more than the creepy still floor of the courthouse door. And we wandered whenever we had the time to the criminal of the crime. The hangman judge with a yellow twist of not noticing his busy fist. The innocent thought you were with dread. You cast those eyes of struck lead. For one side, hangman to a key, for whom you raised the gallows tree.
Just a moment. The gallows is the frame that you hang somebody from. The special word for that frame. The poem calls it a scaffold also, like scaffolding on the side of a building that's being built. So the gallows are the frame and the noose. Yeah. All right. So the people ask, who is he? Who did you come to hang? And
Then a twinkle grew in the buckshot eye, and he gave us a riddle instead of reply. He who serves you best, said he, shall earn the rope and the hollow
Okay, so underline or highlight, who is the first person that the hangman hangs? The immigrant, the man from the foreign lands. And he stepped down and laid his hand on a man who came from another land. Huh, reminds you of somebody, doesn't it? No, somebody you read about last night who is blaming problems on people from a foreign land. Yes, our friend Trump is out there doing this exact same thing. And if you watch the supporters at Trump's rallies, do they do anything to stop him? Nope, they sure do not. Just like the people in the poem that breathe again for another's grief was their relief. All right, thank you, Andy. Renz, can you read us the second column, the second part?
The next day's sun was mighty now, on roof and street in our quiet town, and stark and black in the clean air, the gallows tree on the courthouse square. And the hangman stood at his usual stand, with the yellow hemp in his busy hand, with his buckshot eye and his jaw like a pike, and his hair so annoying and it didn't smite. And we cried, Hangman, have you not done yesterday with the alien one? Then we fell silent and stood amazed. Oh, not for him in the gallows rose. He laughed aloud as he looked at us. Did you think I'd gone through all this fuss to hang one man? That's a thing I do to stretch a rope when the rope is loose. Then one cried, murder, one cried, shame. And in our midst, the hangman came. To that place do you hold, said he, with him that was meant for the gallows tree. And he laid his hand on that one's arm, and we shrank back in a triple line. And we gave him away, and no one spoke, out of fear of his hangman. That night we saw the dread surprise, the hangman's scaffold echo inside. Fed by blood beneath the chute, the gallows tree had taken root. Not as wide, or a little more, then the steps that led through the courthouse door, as tall as the writing, or nearly as tall, halfway up from the courthouse.
Who's the next person that gets hung?
People said murder.
The one who speaks up, right? How many people spoke up? Two, right? One cried murder, one cried shame. I don't know, actually, it could be the same one, I suppose. One or two, I guess it's not clear. But the one who speaks up, calls out against it, is the one who gets taken down next. Kind of like my poor friends who didn't like living in communism, and I dragged you off to the gulag up here in front of the room, right? Nobody else said that that wasn't right, did you? All right, the third section of the poem is the shortest. David, can you read that one for us, please? Not here today, oh yeah. Jethrin's not here either. Kevin D., can you read that one for us, please?
Had all heard tell, but you your end fiddle, and what said Hangman? Have you to do with the gallows bound and the group? We cried out, is this one who will serve you well and faithfully? Hangman smiled. It's a clever scheme to try to strip the gallows group. The fourth man's dark, accusing song, and scratch out comfort hard and long. And what concern he gave us back? Hangman for your duty, on the black. The fifth, the sixth, and the five. Hangman sees the last. It's a trick, he said, that we hangman know. Switches in the trap, and the trap swings slow. And we cease and ask no more, as the hangman's tell is ready to score. And some by some, the night by night, the gallows grew to monstrous height. The wings of the shallow open wide, for they covered the stuff from side to side. The monster crossbeam looking down, casting shadow across the town.
So who's the next one? The Jewish guy, right? And then the dark man, the one with the dark skin. then we have a fifth and a sixth, and we don't even know what was wrong with those people. Is this gallows symbolic of something? We'll come back to that question. All right, the last section. The last section. Ashley's here, right? Ashley, can you read for us the last section?
The hangman made, and called the empty streets my way. And I looked at the gallows so tall, and thought, there is no one left at all. For hanging, and something calls to me to pull down the gallows tree. And I went out with great good hope to the hangman's tree and the hangman's room. He smiled at me and I came down. He was like my staring through his head and tail. And someone stretched me his body, busy hand, was a yellow twist of a strand. As he whistled his tune as he checked his strap, and it sprang down with a ready snap. And then with a smile of awful command, he laid his hand upon my hand. You should me, hangman, I shouted then. But the staff was built for other men. And I know he did the word, I cried. You lied to me, hangman, oh you lied. Then I took it through in buckshot eye. Lied to you, tricked you, he said, not I. For I answered straight and I told him the truth. The scaffold was raised for none but you. For you have served me more faithfully than you with your coward's hope, he said. And where are the others that might have stood side by side in the common good? Dead, I whispered unsadly, murdered, the human killed me. First they lived, then they do. I did no more than you let me do. Beneath the beam that about the sky, no head stood so long as I. And the hangman shot me, and no voice there, for I stayed for me then to spare.
All right. Talk to each other. What do you think of this poem? All right, let's get some ideas here. Sharon, what do you think of this poem? Descriptive of what? Describing the basis by which we choose people? How the hangman picked people. Okay. The hangman, does he ever give a reason? Not really, right? He just picks people. Who produces the reason? The people around, right? They say, oh, it must be because. Marianne, what do you think of this poem? One more time, I'm old.
I don't understand why he was hanging with so many.
Why did he hang so many people? What do we think of that? Who is the one who's communist? The hangman is the one who's communist. What do we think of that? Could be. You think there's something else to this?
It's like the hangman's a red scare. People
Right. He's not a person, he's the embodiment of the red scare, he's symbolic of the red scare. All right, so how does that work?
accusing people, and no one's. It's like World War II, like how everybody was afraid to stop Germany. Because like first they came for the geese, and they came for the ducks, and when they came for me, no one spoke out.
What is that? Came for the geese and came for the ducks.
It's from that story.
No.
They came for the Jews, and they came for the other people. And when they came for me, no one spoke out.
Because?
Because there's nobody else there to speak out.
Like in the end of the poem, right? There's no one left to speak up. Okay. What would have happened if people spoke up at the beginning when the hangman first showed up?
They would have hung the hangman.
Maybe they would have hung the hangman. That's hard to say, yeah? Okay. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. Does this relate to our life at all?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you why you think so, but I'm going to let you think for a second first. You all seem to think yes. All right, Martin. How can this relate to us? What do you mean?
The person who accuses people of being communists, he says, you lied to me, and now we lied. So we don't know who is, we don't know if the people in authority are actually good or bad.
Kind of like our game, right? You didn't actually know if people were green or red. Could some of these people who got hung actually have been bad people? Possibly. Possibly. You want to add to that thought, Aronson?
Okay, well, it's not, it has nothing to do with, like, accusing people or anything, but, like, standing up together as one. So, like,
Standing up, what do you mean? Standing up together as one.
hey, if we all just, like, collaborated, like, spoke up against one person, like, you know, senior prom and spring concert, we all perhaps, you know, combine and talk to about it at once, you know, it could say something, but we're probably not going to do that.
I sense there's some drama behind this story. Yeah, interesting. If you all stood up together, you could make a change. You could stop something from happening that you don't like.
Yeah, but that probably never happened.
Why not?
Nobody cares.
You're too scared. What are you scared of?
I don't know if they're afraid of the seniors.
Wait a minute. You mean like the guy in the story, the narrator of the story?
Yes, we're afraid of the narrator. I mean, the hangman.
You're afraid of the hangman? So people get picked off one by one and you don't speak up? Interesting. Are there historical examples of this?
Yes.
Nod your head, yes, there are. Can we think of some?
World War II.
What about World War II? You like this example? What is it?
Oh, when the Germans started invading, they started like, oh, this country, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and everyone's like, nah, they gotta stop.
That's right.
They wouldn't say anything until it was too late, until it was just England, and they were like, oh,
Now what, right?
now what?
Yeah. So does anyone remember the name of the British Prime Minister who went and made the Munich Pact with Hitler? It was an appeasement deal.
Churchill?
It was before Churchill. In fact, he got fired and Churchill replaced him because everyone was upset with what happened. Anyone remember? His name was Neville Chamberlain. See? And now politicians look back and they're like, oh, don't be like Neville Chamberlain. Don't appease somebody and give in. See? That idea. Dr. Seuss made a very famous cartoon at that time showing a woodpecker that had a Nazi symbol on it pecking down all these trees. And there's like there's a bird sitting in like the last one is labeled United States, and then the bird is dressed like Uncle Sam, right? Like here we are ignoring this one by one. All the other places are falling, right? And you know, point of course, when are we going to finally stand up to this guy? Yeah? Hitler very much did this. Hitler did it with the people of Germany also, not just with the countries of Europe, right? He picks out on one minority group. No one stands up to him, so he can pick on another minority group, right? Okay. Do we have this in the United States?
Yeah.
Nod your head, yes. Okay. What examples? What?
The Japanese immigrants,
When?
when they belonged to Harvard, they had internment camps.
At internment camps. Why didn't a whole bunch of other Americans stand up and say, no, this is not okay to pick on this group of people that haven't done anything wrong?
They were scared.
They were scared. Why are you standing up for the Japanese people? Maybe you really like Japan too, right? How about a little later, like in the late 1940s and early 50s? Before that, what have we been talking about today? McCarthyism, right? It's even named after him. See? McCarthyism, this fear of McCarthy. McCarthy starts accusing people. If you stand up for the Hollywood 10, you get up and say, hey, this isn't right. People are going to think, you must be communist, right? Interesting. Interesting. Do we have this more recently? Like? Like Trump, yes. Okay, not to bash Trump too bad, but he's doing this to people, right? Okay. And it gives him a lot of power. It gives him a lot of power. Okay. People want to follow him. They trust him because somehow he knows who the bad guys are. Okay. And people think that he might do something about it. Okay. I'm afraid of the idea of Trump becoming president. I'm afraid of the idea of people following him. Okay. He sounds a lot like Hitler. He sounds a lot like McCarthy. Okay. You read the reading last night. I could find the pictures. Did you notice that? The Trump picture and the McCarthy picture, both of them holding up some paper. Yeah. Do you see that connection? Yeah, I was like, I looked up pictures. Google search, McCarthy. Google search, Trump. I was like, wow, these guys even look alike, right? You know, it's just history coming back all over again. Okay? Now, I have no idea whether Trump will be president. I have no idea what he would actually do as president because that's the future. But he sure sounds a lot like McCarthy, and he sure sounds a lot like Hitler. He does the same kinds of things, and people are falling for it for the same reason. Okay? They're giving in because they're afraid of getting accused also. But of course, Aronson, we could change this if... Yes, we would need to vote, but we need to vote as one group. Yes, we need to gather. Now, certainly the Democrats don't want Trump there either, but you're along the right lines, right? You're along the right lines. You gotta feel the burn. Yeah, gotta feel the burn. It's gonna be an interesting campaign because right now there's a whole lot of Republicans out there. So every time they have a primary election, they keep splitting up the vote. Okay? But at some point, the people getting not very much are going to start to drop out. It's already started happening. Probably pretty soon, Jeb Bush, poor guy, and Ben Carson are going to be dropping out because they just don't have enough support to keep going. And we're going to be down to just 3, maybe then 2 people. Once it's Trump and one other choice, we'll see if people are still going to follow along in this story. Or presented with an alternative, if people will give up, if they'll do like what you guys are saying. Stand up together and repudiate this guy and say, no, we don't believe the things that you're saying. We don't like this way of dealing with things. It will be interesting to see. Okay? There's more elections coming up. Nevada and South Carolina are going to be voting. Interestingly, the Democrats and Republicans don't vote on the same day in those states. I don't know why it works out that way. It does. Okay? So we'll see. Watch the elections. Pay attention to what's going on. See if you see the historical connections, what overlap there is from past to present here. Any last thoughts on the Red Scare? Okay, we have just a few minutes left. We'll watch a video, another class. There's a video related to this, but we don't have enough time. Before we go, though, I do want to hear about some of the food. We'll get to taste it at lunchtime, but I want to hear about what you made and what it was like trying to make it and so on. So before I call people, though, does anybody really want to share the story of this 1950s food that you made? Everybody just dying to share. Renz, you want to share? All right, what's up with your food?
People say Kalbi, but you know the package just said marinated short ribs, so I got it. So I don't know anything more.
All right. This is interesting because a lot of the GIs came back from far away, and they came back with these foods that they had tasted. And did it really end up being the authentic food from far away? No, it was very Americanized, right? Very Americanized. Anyone else want to share something? Experience making food? All right.
Wait, what if there was no recipe for baby pizzas? So I just made pizza on English muffins.
Okay. Yes. Are they good?
I kind of improvised.
Uh-huh. Does this connect?
Is that okay? I searched a 1950s baby pizza recipe, but nothing came up.
Nothing came up.
Yeah.
Nothing came up. Now, when your husband, who had been your boyfriend in the war, came back and said, I used to be in Italy, during the war, and this nice Italian family that I met there made me this wonderful thing called pizza. And then here you are, the new wife at home, wanting to take care of your baby boomer family, and then your husband's describing this thing called pizza, and you improvised, right? Okay, this is how American foods didn't end up like the authentic foods from far away, right? All right, Daniel, what was it like? Where'd Daniel?
Just got ham, put it in the oven.
Straight ham in the oven. What were you trying to make here? Baked ham. And did you taste it yet?
Yeah.
And it's good?
Alright.
It's all right. Does it have like a glaze or anything on there, or
Honey.
honey? How many of you noticed that a lot of food from the 50s is sweet? Yep, sweets were big in the 50s. So glazed ham fits right in. Amanda, what did you make? Mexican corn sauté. Has anyone ever had this? No, this is a good example of a foreign food made into an American variation. And? It's really what? Yes, it is. It's like those of you who made chop suey and stuff. It's not authentic. All right. Is it good?
Yeah.
It is good. Yeah. Tastes like corn. Doesn't have to be authentic to be delicious. Yeah. Okay. Would you serve this at a party? Especially if you got in a time machine and went back to the 50s. So this would be good, right? Yeah. Young, what'd you make?
Mushroom broccoli casserole.
Mushroom broccoli casseroles were big in the 1950s. And is it good?
I haven't tried it.
Okay, we'll see about this. All right, how do you make a mushroom broccoli casserole? What goes in it? Mushrooms and broccoli and?
And onions, garlic. That's pretty much it.
Does it include Campbell's soup in some way? No, it's not. Okay. This is big in the casseroles. How many of you, who else made a casserole with Campbell's soup? Oh, we didn't have, actually. Yeah, Campbell's soup was a big thing. This is the days of Andy Warhol, who paints the Campbell soup art. Yeah, Campbell soup is a big thing. And making things, oh, one of my mom's favorites. A lot of dishes when I was young had Campbell soup somewhere in there. So, all right, we'll try to get you into the front of the line so you can taste everything. Make sure your food is ready for me to heat up or whatever I need to do with it. I had fun today. I'll see you at lunch.